more on the conflict. Let's turn to Saeed Khan. He focuses on Near East and Asian studies at Wayne State University. Saeed, we witnessed a surprise lightning strike this weekend. The commander of Hamas's military wing called for regional actors to also join in the fighting, saying, quote, "I call on our brothers in the resistance in Lebanon, Iran, Yemen, Iraq, and Syria to join the resistance in Palestine." That's one of the greatest concerns at this point, that this could explode into a wider regional conflict. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, this is a concern that particularly the United States is confronting. It's one of the reasons why it has dispatched its naval battle fleet closer to the border or the coastline with Israel and with Gaza. There is a concern that Iran might become then a target, and you notice that the White House has been very reluctant to then corroborate a recent Wall Street Journal article which claimed that Iran was supporting and really instigating Hamas, and then also looking to Hezbollah to come in, saying that there is no smoking gun. So the idea of being risk averse is very much paramount at this time. However, it is important to then see whether some of these other factions may chime in. Hezbollah has certainly moved its positions further into southern Lebanon, and the Israelis have moved some of their troops to the northern part of the country as a way to counter that. Right now, as I'm sure you are appreciating, the situation is incredibly fluid.
Yeah, and it's not likely to get better anytime soon. Israel's defense minister is ordering a complete siege on Gaza, meaning there's not going to be any electricity, no water, no supplies, no food. So we're looking at a humanitarian crisis. How soon before that manifests?
Well, those who are already in Gaza certainly contend that they have been under siege for quite some time. This has been Hamas's position that is reported as being one of the impetuses for its actions. The idea of not having access to water, having intermittent at best electricity, and having food supplies being limited into Gaza has been a long-standing grievance that the Palestinians have made, and certainly Hamas has been very adept at exploiting that right now, again, as one of its rationales for taking the actions that it did on Saturday.
Stephanie Fried mentioned that Israel's invoking 9/11, suggesting that this is very similar to what happened here in the United States. In fact, if you compare the scale of the United States and Israel, and just being a much smaller country, that actually the amount of victims in this attack much larger than what we saw here in the United States on 9/11. Given that, what we saw after 9/11, of course, the invasion of Afghanistan, that was a 20-year war. And Netanyahu's suggesting this is going to be a long slog as well. I mean, give me your sense of what we're looking at here.
Well, again, I think that to take what happened on Saturday in isolation would then be imprecise because the conflict that Israel and Gaza have been engaged in goes far longer than that. Some would place the date at 2005 with Israel's withdrawal from Gaza. Some would even place it a year later with the election of Hamas in Gaza. Some would take it even farther back to 1967 with Israel occupying Gaza along with the West Bank and the Golan Heights and the Sinai after the Six-Day War. And others will even go further back and claim 1948 with Israel's War of Independence. So what we find here then is that historical narratives are yet another issue upon which these two sides do not agree. How long it will last, again, really depends on Israel and whether or not the international community is willing to and even able to wield enough influence on both actors to try to bring about some kind of a negotiation. This would probably be a protracted matter of weeks and perhaps even months, but I wouldn't think that this is going to be something that has a high intensity lasting 20 years, as was the case with Afghanistan.
Yeah. Saeed Khan, there will be obviously a lot of bloodshed in the days and months ahead. Thank you so much for your analysis. Appreciate it.
Thank you.